So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Sean Kozak, and I am going to be doing this presentation today on behalf of PropShopTrader. As a senior executive and also a senior trader, I have over 10 years of trading experience. I've been trading prop firms since the launch of TopStep, when TopStep was the first prop firm to basically start the industry, as well as FTMO back in the day. And I have a lot of experience with regards to generating results as a trader, right? I've built strategies, been a systems architect. I've been an educator and an instructor to senior traders and senior instructors. So the way in which I approach trading and the way in which I teach traders and educate traders is very different than, let's say, some other people that you may learn from or that you may listen to. I don't claim to be the best in the world, but I do claim to have a lot of experience and a lot of results. So hopefully what I can do today is I can transfer my knowledge and my experience and my results over to some of you, hopefully all of you, but I understand that everybody here is looking for different things. And my goal today is one thing and one thing only. My job is to get you to make repeating payouts. I have an objective with this webinar. What we want to do is we want to help you make a lot of money, but in order to do that, we need to ensure that you have the right tools, resources, and process. Okay. Now, we're going to be recording this presentation. I'm going to share that with you after the webinar. So for whatever reason, if you have to leave, hopefully not, we're going to be doing some giveaways and exciting stuff here today, but you won't be able to take advantage of that unless you stick around to the end. But if you have to leave, you can watch the recording. We'll be sending that out here after the webinar. Also, if you're putting questions in the chat box, I can't read the questions and do the presentation at the same time. So I do have some of my staff here. They will be assisting if they can answer. If it's a question that you need me to answer as it's pertaining to what I'm talking about, then I will do some Q&A at the end of the presentation, and I'll make sure that I can help you guys go through some of those questions in due time, okay? Now, because we're talking about trading, prop firms, etc., we need to understand the risks in the business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a disclaimer because I don't think there is one in this presentation, Jim. Again, give me a second here.
Sorry about that. I thought that was in there, this one.
No, give me a
My
second.
bad.
I'm going to pull that up here. Give me 1 second, traders. Need to cover a quick disclaimer. Okay. Can everybody see the disclaimer here? Can you guys do me a favor and type Y in the chat box that you understand and accept the risks in this business? I'm not your guaranteed executor. I can't make decisions for your account. I'm not your broker, CTA, advisor, all that fun stuff. And because we are talking about trading in here, I need to make sure that you understand the risks and you are responsible for your own trades. Also, past performance never guarantees future results. Make sense? Everybody's good with that? Fantastic. It's important, guys. We got to kick that out of the way. Regulators require it, right? We'll just put that in the PPT, Jim, when you get a chance.
Yep, will do.
Cool. Okay, so let's get back into it. Why are we here? Well, many of you guys have different reasons for why you're here. But I'm going to say that I'm going to assume that a lot of you are not happy with where you're at in your trading. Having owned a prop firm and being on the risk side and also on the trading side, I have the privilege of seeing the good and the bad, right? And the reality is there's a whole lot more bad than there are good. And that's not really why I started the companies in the first place. When I build a business, what I like to do is I like to ensure people succeed. Now, the problem with that is that trading is like the weight loss industry, right? And I know that you're probably saying, well, how does that even make any sense? Well, if you go to the gym, right, everybody wants results. They want the six-pack abs. They want the great body. They want to have great health. But very few actually accomplish that, right? Very few get the results that they're truly looking for. And to this day, I don't understand why. I feel that, not everybody has the same motivation. Not everybody's prepared to do whatever it takes. But in trading, if you're not prepared to do whatever it takes, and if you're not prepared to break the cycles of change, and if you're not prepared to do the things that are necessary, you won't get results. And it's the same thing as if you go to the gym, you could work really, really hard in the gym, But if on the way home you stop at the Dairy Queen and then you make a pit stop at 7-Eleven, grab some shakes and some milkshakes or whatever, and then you right before you get home, maybe you stop and have a chili sandwich. I don't know, whatever the reason is, if you do not stop putting the fork down, you're not going to have six-pack abs, right? Same thing with trading. If we don't dissect the problem and understand the problem and actually build a new solution around how to fix your trading, it's going to be next to impossible for you to get where you want to be. And the reason I like to use these analogies is because I can relate with it personally, right? I was a very overweight child. I grew up pretty fat as a kid, and picked on, teased when I was a child, all that fun stuff. When you grow up and you're a teenager and you go through all that, you get the acne and you get, the girls don't want to take you to prom and all that stuff. Sad story, poor me. Fast forward to the future, if you look at people through that process, right? If you look at your journey through life, maybe some of you have had problems with discipline. Maybe some of you had problems losing weight. Maybe some of you had problems, gambling, or maybe you've had other addictions in your life. Maybe some of you have issues with the way in which you can't stay focused when you're trading. Some of you might be impulsive. Maybe some of you have a hard time focusing. Whatever the situation is, I'm here to share with you that it's not just about you. There's a combination effect, okay? Part of that equation is going to be you, and we have to dial you in. We need to make sure that you make the changes necessary to approach this business properly. The other side is the strategy, okay? We need to make sure that you're partnering up with the right strategy, you have the right solution, right, etc. How many of you guys can relate with what I just said? Personalized. Like, how many of you guys can relate with maybe the diet analogy or the discipline analogy or the whatever analogy? How many of you guys have had problems in your life where it's overwhelmingly stepping into trading? David says yes. Am I the only human in here, guys? Come on, where are you guys at? Brandy, yes. Frank, let me explain a few things. If you're going to get real good at this business, you got to get real good at getting real honest with yourself. Okay, Ron. Okay, fine. Everybody's starting to come out of their shell a little bit. Listen, I am here to be a coach and rip the band-aid off a little bit. And I can't do that unless we get real with a lot of you guys. Because the topic of the webinar is why most prop traders never get repeating payouts, right? It's not why most prop traders are constantly getting payouts and never blowing accounts. The stats show that most traders are failing. And you are a part of that, right? I am a part of that, right? We need to make sure that we do whatever it takes to break the patterns, right? Now, how many of you guys can identify an unhealthy pattern in your trading right now? Like realistically? Like, how many of you guys can sit down and look at your process from the time you get out of bed? You sit down, you have a coffee, you make your breakfast, do whatever you do, you get into the office. How many of you guys feel it's like a routine, like Groundhog Day, right? You get up, you turn on your charts, you open up your charts, and then bam, right? Well, when you look at the strategy side of the business and you actually look at the actual aspect of your daily routine, okay? Many of you you come into the strategy process, right? Let's say this is you over here, right? And you have your daily process, you have your daily routine, you have your normal ways of doing things, and then all of a sudden you take those patterns and then you combine it with the pattern cycle of trading systems. Think of it as two wheels. You have your wheel and then you have the strategy wheel. This is you, this is the strategy. What you may not understand is they're two independent cycles. Okay. One of them is the life cycle. The other one is the tools cycle, because you got to understand what trading is. Trading is the business of managing capital. You're simply trading as a vehicle to do that, right? Because I could manage capital many ways. I could be spread betting. I could be buying and selling gold bars. I could be running a business in real estate. I could manage capital many different ways. We're just in the business of making money. That's what this is. But we're using the vehicle of trading, okay, to do that. So if we take the U cycle, okay, let's just put Y up here, okay, and you have your routine, you have your food routine. You're going to basically have, let me explain this, right? If you have you here, okay, and you have different things like food, You have sleep, you have leisure, you have family time, you have work time, right? You have your lifestyle, whatever it is you do. That's all a cycle of what you do. But then what ends up happening is you put it into this cycle because your strategy and your business has a cycle of itself. Maybe you get a strategy and it works sometimes. And then all of a sudden you start feeling that the strategy is working really well. And then all of a sudden you start maybe getting cocky. Maybe some of this starts stepping in. You start feeling the ego, you start getting complacent, taking bad trades, doing things that you normally shouldn't do, maybe overwhelming yourself, whatever the case. Then all of a sudden the discipline breaks. Right here is the break point. Let me explain it. Two things are breaking. You're breaking because you're changing in the cycle. And then the strategy is breaking because if you're not in check, you can't take your strategy and make it in check. You're responsible for the strategy. The strategy is not going to do anything for you. The strategy is just sitting there waiting for you to trade it. It's you. You're responsible for what the strategy does, not the strategy is responsible for you. And a lot of people have this all backwards. They think that you're going to get a trading system. You're going to just buy it or use it or borrow it or take it from me or somebody else that gives it to you or shows it to you. And then you're just going to turn it on. It's going to just do the magic potion, rub the lamp. There it is, genie on a magic carpet. No, that's not what's going to happen. There's going to have to be things that need to take place in your business. Because if the discipline breaks, and then all of a sudden you start failing, you start taking a drawdown, okay? Eventually you have a line here where you basically say, "Oh, I'm just going to flip and flop." Well, what does a flip and flop mean? Well, wait a second. You mean if I just get a new strategy, I don't have to worry about all this all the time. It's easy. Well, I'll just change my time frame. Oh, no, I'll just use a different indicator. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the webinar on Thursday. They're doing a new algo launch or a new strategy launch, or Jim and Sean are going to teach me a new strategy. I'll just use that one next time. And guess what happens? All of this that was never fixed just pretends it wasn't there. Just clean slate. Oh, and then what happens? You buy a new strategy. Oh, you get a new strategy. And then what happens? You're still there. All you did was just go right here. Nothing changed. No new process, no new procedure, no new rules, no new change, no new pattern disruption, just repeat. Why do you think 99% of traders are failing? All they're doing is changing strategies every single day and every single week and every single month because they're not getting the results that they're hoping for. But that's the problem. It's not the strategy's responsibility to make you money. The strategy is your tool. Think of it like the hammer in the toolbox. When you go and you buy land and then you ultimately want to build a house on that land, okay? Do you just put a toolbox on the ground and then go somewhere else and then the toolbox opens itself and the hammer starts doing what it's supposed to do and the drill start? No, like the tools don't build the house. It's the operators that are using the tools that builds the house. Do you understand where I'm going with this? Your cycles, your patterns, you as an individual are responsible for holding the hammer and doing what needs to be done with it. And if you do not remember that and take the responsibility of you being the culprit, your strategies are never going to save you. Your trading systems are never going to save you. Now, you need a strategy to do the job, but you need to do the job with the strategy. Now, how many of you guys are prepared to say, the hell with this? I'm not doing this anymore. I am done doing this. I am done with this cycle. I know that that's a question that many of you are going to say, yes, me. But think for a second, like truly think, because you're going to have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable for a period of time. Nobody wants to change quickly. Nobody likes change. Nobody feels good about change. Motivation waves very quickly. Everybody's motivated for a day or two and they get excited and the endorphins. I'm going to do something new. But then all of a sudden, when the dopamine drops and the endorphins go back to normal and everything goes back to the normal routine, guess what happens? Nothing changes. So let me ask you again, how many of you guys are truly prepared to get uncomfortable for a little bit? Yes or no? Are you prepared to be uncomfortable if that means saving your business and it means doing what's necessary to get yourself out of whatever rut you're in not making the type of money that you deserve to be making? Type a yes if you're willing to do whatever it freaking takes. And I mean that. I take this very seriously. You want to know why? Because I've had conversations with many of you. You're people just like me. You have families, you have emotions, you have maybe grandkids, children, you're responsible for your wife, you have a mortgage, you have life to live. But it doesn't take away the realities of the emotional baggage that losing brings. Not making a lot of money brings its own bag of bullshit that nobody likes to admit. Not having a good week or having a bad day, or it brings a lot of evidence and a lot of energy that is not necessarily healthy, right? Having a bad day or a bad week can weigh on you. And then that weighs on your diet, it weighs on your sleep, it weighs on everything. I'm saying this to you guys because as a good instructor or as a coach, it's all about the foundation. I could just jump right into strategies, but if you're not willing to understand who I am and how I teach, you're never going to want to listen to me and actually do the things that I tell you because you're not going to believe that it's built on the right foundation. If I give you the foundation on quicksand, you're going to drown because the market doesn't give a shit about you or me or anything. It's just going to eat you up and spit you out. And that's the reality. Okay. Now, I know that's a pretty hardcore intro to a presentation, but it truly means the world for you. If you're not prepared to break the cycle will break you, and it sucks. Okay. Now, my only request here is that you make an honest decision. And an honest decision means that you need to be selective. Think for a minute. Okay. You could buy more strategies and indicators and join more discords and do more courses and all that stuff, but it's not going to change you. Okay. More doesn't equal more. Real. This is a real statement. More does not equal more. And the truth is, the industry, including companies, including our companies, because we sell software and that's part of our business model is to generate revenue by selling products to the trading industry. There's two components to our business. There's the education side, and then there's the product side. Well, the product side's not going to do anything unless you understand the education side, right? We don't actually think it's a good idea for you to buy too many products. We think it's important that you buy the right ones and that you use the right ones so that you can leverage the reason you bought them in the first place. If you're a trend trader, and you go and buy a tool that's not optimized for trend trading, you're basically doing the wrong thing. You're buying the wrong tool. If I know that I need a hammer to build a deck, I'm not going to go out and just carry a saw and expect that the saw is going to do the deck. You got to use the right tools, and that involves getting really good at knowing yourself. You need to know, are you meant for trading up trends, profiles, breakouts, reversals, indicator-based momentum, divergence, whatever it is, we're going to understand you and we're going to dial that in so that when you buy a tool, you're buying the right tool. When you learn a strategy and you buy a course, you buy the right course. Do you guys understand where I'm going with this? It takes a little self-assessment to get really good at making change, right? I do believe in personal development. I think everybody needs to buy education, everybody needs a mentor, and everybody needs tools. But why the hell would you go and buy programs or tools and stuff that's not relevant to the way that you should be trading? Does this make sense? If you know that you're more of a scalper because you can't stay in trades that long and you don't really feel good about holding positions, then why the hell would you ever go to a swing trading presentation? Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, you got to get good with understanding making the right decisions. More is not more. Clarity is more, right? And we're going to help you define that today. We're going to help you define how to get good at understanding what you need, what's best, and why. That's my job today. I'm going to help you with that. Now, a lot of times traders keep stacking. What does stacking mean? Well, stacking means you're just using too many damn things. Like if I go and look at your charts right now, I can promise you, you got a whole bunch of stuff on there that shouldn't be there. How many of you guys would admit that probably you got a few tools on the charts you don't need? Yes or no? How many of you guys would agree that you've probably got a lot of indicators or a lot of tools looking at a lot of things? And do you want to know something? I want you to write this down. 3. Okay. 3. Write down the number 3. I did a study with the University of Montreal in Canada. It was a 2-year study, extremely thorough study. Okay. I worked with 80 traders. Okay. Let's just write down 80 down here. Okay. 80 people. We did a study with 80 traders. I led the study and I participated for a period of 2 years. What I did over 2 years is I studied the human brain for 400 days, 400 trading days. That's almost 2 years. Okay. And during that time, I studied the human brain on how we process cognitive load. What we did during that study was we studied how the human brain made decisions under pressure. And what we all learned and what we all came to understand is that after 3, when we started to process more than 3 things simultaneously at any given time, the brain would shut down. Do you understand this? That means if you're looking at 3 markets, if you're looking at 3 indicators, if you're looking at 3 strategies, if you're doing anything that involves going greater than 3, the chances of you screwing it up are 96.7%. How do I know this? I have the data. I have the data. I did a study with the university. We did a published study. I can send you the published study. That changed me. As a trader, it literally broke me because I was looking at that time, I had 8 monitors. Okay. This is my trading setup. Okay. My trading setup looked like this. I had 8 monitors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And at that time, I essentially had 8 different markets on several different time frames. I was looking at probably 6 to 7 different indicators on the charts. And when I really learned that I could only get good if I did it with 3, I'm here to tell you that it changed me. The moment I dropped all of the tools and got rid of all of the variables that were part of the struggle, okay, my whole business changed. I changed. The way I traded changed. The way in which I approached the day changed. Everything changed. And so here's my only request. No more, okay, than 3. You can have 3 indicators, 3 markets, 3 whatever, but you're not allowed to go over 3. How many of you guys are willing to live by that rule starting right now? If I have evidence, scientific evidence, proven at the labs in the University of Montreal that will show you that you can't make a lot of money or do a lot when you overload 3. This is where the traders are going to say, yeah, but what about if I just try 4, Sean? But 4, I'm really good at 4. That's where the brain starts going back to the old patterns. Do you understand that? What if I told you can only look at 3 markets ever? You're never allowed to look at more than 3. Yeah, but Sean, but I look at this and I look at that. There's your problem. You have to get willing to drop the baggage. Some of you are not going to agree with me. Some of you are going to challenge my thinking right now. Some of you are going to, by nature, the human brain doesn't want to listen to change because comfort zones are the breeding ground of disappointment. And I'm here to share with you that 1, 2, 3 markets max, 1, 2, 3 indicators max, 1, 2, 3 strategies max. Your entire life is about to change. Does it make sense, guys? Do you understand where I'm going with this? Right? My job is to change your results. And I'm going to do things in a different way than most people are going to do that. I'm going to write down little things that you should be doing. I'm going to give you little golden nuggets that you should be leaving here with. That is one of them. Okay. Now, when we observe, like Jim and I as a risk manager, Jim, remember that time when you and I were looking at all of the report, like we were watching the NASDAQ using the tool we built.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember when we were watching the traders? We were literally observing
Hmm.
thousands of traders fading the market against a trend one day. We were literally watching
Big
the
trend.
market drop. Like the market was dropping and just dropping and dropping. And we were watching on one hand. Jim and I were literally, as risk managers, we had a chart over here. We were watching the NQ. Okay. And over here, we had all of the traders' accounts, just like this, just thousands of them, just thousands of accounts. Okay. And the market was just doing this. And what do you think everybody was doing? What do you think everybody was doing?
Everybody's
Exactly.
going long and adding to their positions.
Everybody was
Everybody.
buying and everybody was adding more and increasing.
Terrible.
Do you understand the human psychology of this discussion right now? Like we watched not five, not 10, like over 86,000 accounts fail across the tenure of the study in which Jim and I were looking at these markets and how we were doing the things we were doing with the NASDAQ. And we literally, okay, determined that it's not just one trader, it's human psychology is broken. Like the actual psychology of the mass market is flawed by nature. Us as traders, like as a collective, there's something wrong with all of us. We always want to do what we shouldn't be doing. Think about this. If you look at countries that have no bans on drugs, they don't have a drug problem. If you look at countries that have no bans on certain things, they don't have a problem with those. The moment you sit there and tell people that you shouldn't do something or they can't do something, what do they do? They just go against the herd. They do it anyways. They just do whatever's not good for them. And this is a great example of what we realize is that unless you take people and explain to them where they're breaking, like literally have to hold them by the hand and share with them the solution, it's next to impossible for them to want to learn or change on their own. The chances of you breaking your habits, doing it on your own, is next to impossible because most of you don't even realize you're doing it. You don't even realize you're making those mistakes until it's too late. And we see this time and times again is that what we've learned over the observations of all of these traders and all of the data is that everybody overtrades. Everybody's just abandoning their strategies because they don't give enough time. They don't understand what makes them tick and what they don't need to do. Emotions lead their entire business, random setups, no risk management, and everybody goes against the market. By nature, everybody is just completely fading against the market. And what we've learned is that everybody starts to do small wins, right? And then they just have one big destructive day. Like you'll have small win, small win, small win, just massive blowout everything day, and then just go back to small win, small win, small win. And it what happens is that on those days where you just blow everything up and you shit just hits the fan and you just fail the accounts, etc. Those are the I give up days, right? Fans describing, I'm describing you. So how many of you guys would have that? How many of you guys have had this where you have small win, small win, small win, catastrophic loss? You buy new accounts, you get back on the horse, you go reset, you buy small win, boom, you just blow it. Every week, D says,
I'm going to
okay.
tell you how many traders do this. It's 100%. Prove me wrong. Oh man.
So the answer to this is very simple. Let me explain something that if you followed one simple rule that you never increase size, so you're never allowed to increase size, never increase your position size. Okay. That's one rule that will eliminate this problem right away. Never, okay, DCA. Never, like never. Don't not try maybe. Oh yeah, but Sean, I did it once. Never. Okay. You can never do it. The other thing is you never break your max loss trades, max number of losing trades. Everybody has to have a cutoff. And if you do not have a cutoff, or if you do not have a rule around the risk of your business, that's never going to change. And I'm here to tell you that everybody in here that's just said you're having a problem, you don't actually have a strategy problem. You have a risk problem. You don't even know it. Your strategy is probably good. Your strategy is probably okay, or maybe it needs some tweaks, or maybe you need one of ours, but that's fine. The point is, I can guarantee you that 99% of all of your guys' problems is not just based on strategy, it's based on risk. I guarantee that we can fix the majority of your issues if we fix your risk problem. You don't have a trading systems problem. You have a risk problem.
I'm going to add one more. Trade with a stop, please. Trade with a stop. Your stop is not your MAE and it's not your max drawdown. Trade with a stop.
So, exactly. Let's talk a little bit about how we can start making things better. Okay. So, you have to simplify. That's key. We've already talked about the layer of three. Okay. Um, when you're building a business around core principles that make sense, like write down the word common sense. It's something that's actually quite easy, but most people don't live by it in trading. Trading is really about keeping things super simple. Um, Most traders don't implement common sense, and I think that once you start living by the principles of common sense, things are going to start to change for you. So David, just love those never rules. Never add size, never DCA, never exceed max loss, and always use a stop. Yes, David, that's the gospel. And yeah, okay, you might have a losing day, or maybe even have a couple losing days, but you're not going to blow everything out if you have losses that way. That's the key. So let's start talking about solutions. We've really drove in the problem and the headache and the aspects of loss, and we need to understand that. Okay. But you got to start realizing there is solutions to this. Like we can actually fix this. How many of you guys like the idea of being able to fix this, right? You don't need somebody for the rest of your life beating you down saying you suck and you're never going to get out of this. No, but we can't deny it. Denial is the truth of the problem. Like if you have a problem and you're in denial, you never fix the problem. Okay. So denial will kill you. But if you understand, if you can admit, okay, you have to surrender to the problem. And then what we do is we start fixing things by having solution-based thinking. Solution-based thinking is what we're going to start looking at now. We're going to start looking at how to fix this, what we can do, how we're going to get out of these problems, the strategies we're going to use, the risk plan we're going to live by, etc. Selecting more trades, okay? The trades that we select need to be amazing. Okay, like let's just talk about this for a second. Core principles. It's not just about taking the best trades. It's about making sure that you trade the best systems and then take the best trades on those systems. If you're trading a want strategy, okay, that's not that good, even if you take the right trades, if the strategy's not that great, you're going to have a real hard time, right? Because we can get you to be a great trader, but if the strategy is kind of lacking, it's going to be hard for it to align with you. Okay. Momentum alignment. Okay. You don't necessarily need to trade trend days or that, but understanding how to always go with the market to some degree. If you're a reversal trader and you say, I like to trade reversals, great. Well, then we're going to teach you how to trade reversals in the context of being with the market, right? You don't have to be a trend trader to go with the market. Being with the market or trading with the market on the right side of the market doesn't mean you got to be a trend trader. It means you need to understand how to read the market and be in alignment with what the market is telling you. Your plan always needs to be structured. You have to have a trading plan. If you trade every single setup and you do not know your trading plan start to finish before entering the trade, meaning your entry, your exit, your stop loss, your size, and your risk and reward, I don't care if you're scalping 100 trades a day or if you're trading one trade a week. You must never get into a trade unless you understand the entire trade plan of that trade. If you're trading just by clicking buttons and scalping on the pad or doing whatever, and you don't know your position size or you don't know where you're going to get out, etc., you're not trading. I'm telling you right now, you are gambling. You are literally gambling. Does this make sense? How many of you guys would admit that that's happening? How many of you guys would admit that sometimes you get into a trade, you don't know if you're on the right side of the market? Sometimes you get into a trade if you don't understand your position size. Maybe once in a while you get in and you don't place your stop. Once in a while you get in and you're not sure where you're going to take your targets. I know this, guys. You can't lie to me. I know everybody in here does this. Every single person. Right? And so it really is about risk first. So your entry, your exit, your money management, your risk and reward, plus your strategy equals success. And all of this can be summed up into one word. What do you think that word is going to be? Anybody? Mindset, Frank says. Process? No, it's risk. If you understand the entry and the exit, your money management, and your risk versus reward on every single plan, that means your entire risk in the business has been defined. Okay. So Lawrence says, can someone help me? I'm having a hard time buying some of your products. Not a problem, Lawrence. Yes, Jim can write your number down. We'll get you in touch with Jason and we'll make sure we help you today. Not a problem. So risk plus strategy equals plan. Write that down. Your risk plus your strategy equals your plan. Okay, let's write this down. Risk, okay, plus your strategy equals your plan. Write that down. Important. Okay. And it doesn't matter if you're trading for a prop account, a brokerage account, whatever. It's still the same. You need to have your risk plan and your strategy plan gives your entire trading plan. Each of them is different. Each of them has its own plan. Does this make sense? Okay, so let's do this here. Building a trading plan. Mechanics. One is your risk plan. Two is your strategy plan. Three is your process plan. Four is your assessment plan. Okay. So if you're going to build a trading plan, you do not need 20 pages. You need to have a risk plan. You need to have your strategy plan. You need to have a process plan and then an assessment plan. What does this mean? We're going to have a plan around risk. So how you manage risk is its own individual plan. The strategy, okay, the strategy has its own plan, right? That's the system and the defined rules of getting into the market, okay? The process plan is your procedure, how you trade, what you trade, getting up, how you approach the market, which markets you trade, etc. And then you have an assessment plan. Everybody has to review their business. You have to trade, log your trades, study the trade logs, understand the logs, etc. If you do not have a plan for each, you are not going to make money. Done. Like, that is it. Like, I am here to tell you that if you do not build the proper plan around each of these four pillars, it is not going to happen for you. So instead of worrying about trading today or what you're doing tomorrow, what you should be thinking about is, I got to build my risk plan. Then I got to build my strategy plan. Then I'm going to understand how I'm going to do this, which markets and what's my process. And then we're going to have an assessment. Does this make sense? Does everybody understand this? I care drastically about this because I care that you no longer have to struggle. Okay. So we're going to build this. I will build this with you. We are going to build this together. You're not going to be responsible for doing this by yourself. Okay. I'm not going to say, here you go. Go jump into the fiery pit without gloves and without boots. No, I'm not that cruel. I'm going to actually help you. I'm going to help you do this. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and expect you to understand everything by yourself. That'd be stupid. You may not know every component, and that's why you need help. You might have one of these dialed in completely, great, but I can promise you that if you had all four of these dialed in, you would not be listening to the likes of me today. Does that make sense? Now, I know how to trade, so I don't like to spend most of my time saying, oh, trust me, trust me, trust me, believe in Sean. No, because a lot of the things that I do, I could care less if you trust me. I just know what I bring to the table. I already know that I'm more than qualified to fix your problems. I don't want to spend the rest of my life fixing those problems. I want to do it in a short period of time. I believe that in a very short window of time, I can take your trading and turn it around. You do not need to spend months rebuilding your business. If you are currently struggling right now, or if you are currently in a situation of loss, within a very short window of time, I believe that I can turn it around. Why? Because I've done this for so long and I know how to do this that if I can give you the right plan, you'll know how to approach the market. If you don't have the plan, it's really hard to approach the market, right? And I can make a lot of money and I can show you how I make a lot of money, but unless you have a plan, it's going to be hard for you to do this. How many of you guys would like my trading plan? Would you like to have my trading plan? The trading plan that, right, you know can work. Okay. Good. So, a couple things. What we're going to do is PST Strategy Vault. So, what I'm going to do, okay, is I am going to show you how to build the proper framework. Okay. Within the framework, we are going to teach you to stop fighting the market. Everything I do, literally everything I do as a trader, I am always trading with the market. I make it my business to understand how to read the market. If I don't have a read on the market, I don't place a trade. 9 times out of 10, I have a pretty damn good read of the market. There might be a once in a while where the market's doing some weird ass whatever, and I have to say, you know what? My read on the market's a little bit off right now. I'm going to stop, or I'm going to go on to the other market. I'm not going to trade that market. Okay. And so my goal within the strategy vault, and what is a strategy vault? The strategy vault is going to be 2 days with me. I am going to be running a 2 day workshop. Okay. And during that workshop, I am going to do a few things for you and with you. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to help you build the right plan. I'm going to build it with you. We are going to build these 4 pillars together. I'm going to build the risk plan with you and for you. I'm going to build the strategy plan with you and for you. I'm going to build your process plan. And then I'm going to give you guys some tools and some resources that I think should be used in keeping track of your business. Okay. And by the end of those 2 days, you should have enough information and enough resources to approach the market in a completely different way. No, you don't need to buy some big program and some annual subscription and a whole bunch of all. No, you just need a couple days with an experienced prop trader that can show you things that you may not be doing that can drastically change your business. And the goal is that we do it specifically for prop firm trading. Okay. Does that make sense? Because this is a prop firm event, right? I don't always teach these types of frameworks in other types of events because not everybody's trading prop firms in those types of events. Does that make sense? Now, simplified execution. Okay. I am going to show you 4 strategies. Okay. We are going to focus on 4 different strategies. Okay. And during those 4 different strategies, we are going to dial down the ones that are going to be best suited for you. Why? What's the magic number? What I tell you earlier, what's the magic number? 3, David says. Great. So out of the 4, does that mean you need to be trading 4? No. Maximum, you can trade 3. My suggestion would be 1 to 2 and get good with one of them first. I'm going to give you 4 of them. We're going to talk about how to use them, what to do with them, how to trade them, where you can get them, all of that stuff. And then what's going to happen is we're going to go over them. You're going to understand these rules, and we're going to go through the rules of the systems. We're going to talk about them. I'm going to explain them, how to trade them, et cetera, et cetera. And by the end of this, there is no freaking possible way you will not be able to do this. Okay. And I am going to build the plan with you so that you do not have subjectivity. Now, everything we're going to do is going to be under what we call risk models. Risk models is what we need to build for prop firm trading, because prop firm trading is very different than, say, trading for your own brokerage account. We're not going to sit there and build management plans around trading a $100,000 account in your Charles Schwab account or whatever, right? As a prop firm trader, I want to show you how to do multi-prop. Multi-prop allows you to trade with copiers. It allows you to trade with multiple prop firms, and how to leverage multiple payouts, not just with PropShopTrader, but with many prop firms all simultaneously, right? Because we really want you to make a lot of money, and the way in which we do multi-prop is going to be really dialed in, and it's really unique on how we do this, okay? And I have one goal, really. My goal is to show you how to get repeating payouts and get them with more than one firm. Does this make sense? Like that's a pretty good goal. Like that's the goal right here. One goal, consistent, repeatable prop trading payouts times multiple props. Okay. Yes, this is a PST event. Yes, we are coming at it from our lens as well. But you got to remember, every prop firm has a cap. We just have to have one of the best caps. You can get 10 payout accounts with PropShopTrader. Okay. Well, you can get 10 with us, and then you can go and buy 10 with Lucid and 10 with Apex and then 10 with freaking Elite Trader Funding, and then whatever. Every firm has their own prop firm accounts. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to buy them, set them up, set up the trade copiers, etc. And then we're going to teach you how to do this. Does this make sense? Is everybody on the same page with me? Yes, no, maybe so. Now, let me show you this. Okay. This is what you can expect. Okay. Some of you are going to challenge me right now. Some of you are going to say, oh, yeah, I've heard this bullshit before. I love it. I love the challenge. Okay. I specifically love the haters. You want to know why? Because the haters are the best when I convert them, right? When the haters and the people and the naysayers and the people, that's not really you giving me pushback. It's your subconscious running on autopilot, sabotaged by fear. You understand this? Everybody that has a wall up that has either spent a bunch of money or bought a bunch of systems, been in a lot of trading rooms, completely jaded because nothing's worked. The way in which your brain is thinking right now is on autopilot, save and protect mode, right? Don't buy anything else because I don't believe in anything else. Don't do anything else because I'm stuck and I'm not going to get out of it. Your brain is subconsciously keeping you in a state of fight or flight, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to break those walls down, and I'm going to help you get through this. And the reason I know that I can do this is because I've watched traders go through our programs and do the necessary steps. And at the end of it, they are now consistent. Was it easy? No. Is it possible? Yes. So some of you may get through it very quickly and succeed very quickly. Some of you may have to get back up, dust the dust off again, and keep going through it a few times. But once you've learned what we need to do, the next thing is about implementation and assessment. Now, my promise to you, and anybody can call me up on this promise. After we go through this 2-day workshop, if you do the necessary steps and you log your trades and you take screenshots of what you're doing and you fill in your journal, anybody can send me your journal. I have no problem. Listen, I am the CEO of 2 very large companies, but I am still very much committed to just getting in the trenches with you and helping you be a great trader. And if that means sitting down on a Saturday morning and having a coffee and looking at your trading plan and looking at your trades, I have no problem doing that. If you show up to do the work, I will meet you on the other side, and I will give you feedback, and I will give you pointers on things that can help you. But you can't do that by yourself. Like I can't just sit there and look at somebody's trades or give assessment if you don't do the work. Does that make sense? So I'm sitting here saying that me and my team will help you if you come to these programs and actually do the work and actually show up and actually put in the effort, right? I remember when I first learned how to trade, my instructor would charge $20,000 for that. I know schools out there that charge a lot of money for what I just openly said I would give you for free. Does that make sense? So don't look a gift horse in the mouth and be complacent and say, oh, this and that. No, like I'm sitting here saying we have a solution and we will definitely help you. Yeah, I know it's an amazing offer, David. Most people don't really understand that. They think that God's just going to open up the gift of giving and just dump it down on their lap and they just do anything without having to do any work, right? So, and buying a program doesn't mean you're destined to ultimately succeed, right? Like there's still work involved, right? You have to do the work, right? I've spent more money than anybody in here combined. I've literally spent more money on personal trading programs than anybody in this webinar right now to date. You say, well, what do you mean, Sean? You build programs. Yeah, but I also buy everybody else's in the industry, study what they do. I'm a trader first. I learn methods. I watch traders. I buy packages. I buy programs. I buy tools. I study them. Why? Because I'm a trader. And I always want to be a better trader. I always want to be the best at what I do. And so some of it, I just like to understand the way other traders trade and the way other people do things. Some of it is I'm really interested in just learning from other traders. Some of it's I like to study my competitors and I like to understand what they do and how they do things, right? But if you add up what I've spent, you don't want my bill. I can promise you this. And what I'm here saying to you today is that as a prop firm owner, I have one goal. I want to see you succeed because if I can get you through that process, Jim can move you to live. Jim, what's on the other side of that? What's on the other side of basically live?
Yeah,
Upside potential or what? Tell them.
it's real prop allocated capital with uncapped payouts. That's what we're doing, and if you can trade well, we can put even more capital behind you. So this is my challenge to you. Do it because we want really good traders. I'm searching, so help me make that search easier, please.
So, what I want to do here is I want to share with you four different ways in which I want to help you guys. Okay. And what I'm going to do over the course of the 2 days is I'm going to spend some time going over order flow strategies. Okay. Not just one order flow strategy. I'm going to look at order flow strategies. Okay. We're going to talk about how to use order flow. Some of you may not like order flow, and that's fine. You don't have to trade those order flow strategies, right? What I said, we're going to go over four trading systems. Okay. I am going to cram as much as I can into order flow trading with that time. You know why? Because I can give you really, really good systems with order flow without having to do a whole lot. There's a whole lot going on with order flow, and you don't need to be overwhelmed with the overwhelm of order flow, right? We're going to dial back what's not necessary and only hone in on the best order flow trading setups for prop firm trading. I'm also going to spend time on profiles, auction theory. We're going to look at market profile, volume profile. We're going to talk about how to trade the auctions. We're going to go into the auction. We're going to talk about the tools that I use for auction theory. And we're going to show you how to read the profiles, how to trade the profiles, how to build a business around auction theory. Okay. Then we're going to talk about scalping. Okay. We're going to talk about scalping on trend analysis. We're going to dial back aspects of trend breaks, trend breaker trading systems. We're going to look at different aspects of trend trading. We're going to look at it on 30-second charts. We're going to look at it on Renko charts. We're going to look at it on different time frames. So I'm going to show you how to trade trend analysis, break analysis, how to scalp the market like this. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the curtains on something that I've been doing personally that I haven't told anybody about. In fact, I had one meeting with Jeff earlier this week. I'm working on something that nobody's ever seen before. I've built a tool and I've built a process that is completely open to everybody. It is not something you need to spend a whole lot of money doing. And once you learn it, you're going to love it. It's a very effective way of trading. It is super, super efficient. I've built a process around trend trading and using momentum oscillators and Heikin-Ashi bars. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to trade this type of an approach. And within those 2 days, you are going to have so much ways to trade, and then we're going to cram it into the rest of the plan. So you got to understand, I've got 4, right? We're going to look at order flow. We're going to look at auctions. We're going to look at trend breaks. And then we're going to look at Pike and Ashy, RSI, trend trades. Okay, and we're going to talk about this. That's only the 4 parts of the components of the strategy, right? In here, we're going to build the plan around risk and reward. We're going to build it on position sizing. Okay. We're going to build it on entries and exits. Okay. Okay. But then what we're going to do is we're going to build a daily routine. This is going to be your daily routine. Give me a second here. So I have enough space on the chart. Right here, we're going to do daily routine and market routine. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at setting up the daily process. We're going to set up the daily process around market selection. Okay. And then we're ultimately going to look at correlation and then picking the right markets. Okay. And then this is going to be on logs, journals, and tracking. Does this make sense? So the whole point of this is building an entire business. Oh, second here. I'm going to build your business plan with you in a very short period of time. Okay. And this is super, super important because many of you don't have the right plan right now. I probably wrote routine wrong. See here, risk reward routine. Yeah, probably. Routine, poutine. Okay. And we are going to build this together. And at the end of this, you're going to have tools and resources and strategies and procedures that I am 100% confident that you can actually achieve success in this business. Okay. Now, I see a bunch of questions coming in, guys. Hold off, right? This is a webinar. This is not a support desk. Okay. If you want to stay here, focus on the webinar or we'll boot you out. Okay. I'm not trying to be rude. This is distracting for us and many other people. And we will go over anything after the event. Okay. Have some respect for the people that are here. This is meant for a presentation. Okay. We will go over Q&A after if it's pertaining to other matters. Okay. I have a 0 tolerance policy for this. Okay. Now let's talk about this for a second. Over the 2 days, I am going to do this during live markets. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to go over live markets and build your plan during live markets so that we can do it while the markets are moving and while things matter. Okay. I am going to do the plan with you, which means you don't have to come there expecting to know it all. I am going to give you the plan. Okay. You can have the recordings. We'll give you the recordings, any of the desktops, any of the stuff we build together and do together. I will give it to you. Okay. I will make sure that we give you the information that you are expecting to have, because many of you are going to take this plan and you're going to possibly mold it or adapt that plan as you grow as a trader. And so the point of this is to give you the foundation so that if you decide to, let's say, change a strategy or use a different way of trading, you don't need to change the risk and the process and the tracking. You just need to adapt the plan to whatever trading system we want to plug into the business. Does that make sense? When we build the risk plan, this plan right here, if you change the strategy, the risk plan doesn't need to change. You just need to adapt it. It doesn't mean you don't remove risk plans from your business, right? You just need to adapt it, okay? And what we need to do is we need to make sure you understand how to adapt things as we do that, okay? Now, when we build an assessment you're going to have journals and tracking. So if you do trade different systems, we can clone the logs and you can have a different log for each trading strategy, right? That way we can do all this. And so I just want you to know that this is normally only done with coaching, right? Like normally we only do this with one-on-one coaching. And it's a really big privilege to have this in an open bootcamp format like this, because normally we don't do these types of things unless people spend a lot of money for this type of help. And we've decided to open it up on the prop shop side so that we can help our traders really move forward and actually become better traders. Okay. And so, does everybody sound good with that? Now, I see a lot of questions. I'll go over that. I'm not trying to be rude, guys. It's just I said at the beginning, we'll go over Q&A at the end. And if anything is off topic, save it to the end and we'll go over your questions. Does that make sense? Type a Y in the chat box if this presentation made sense to you, you understand, you accept it, you know it, you can see the value in it, etc. Right? A lot of you need the help, okay? A lot of you. And a lot of you need the work of a mentor, okay? And so that's important. Now, type a W if you're willing to let go of all the baggage, right? Because I still see a lot of people holding on to baggage, right? I see a lot of people in here that even some of the comments that they made while I was doing the presentation, right? You're still holding on to baggage from years ago, right? Maybe you bought a system or a program that didn't work 7 months ago or 10 weeks ago or a year ago. Just because you bought something doesn't mean it was the right program for you, right? It's okay to admit that maybe you spent a little money on something and it didn't work. Nothing wrong with that, right? Because what we need to do is we need to accept the past is over, right? You have to get comfortable making changes, right? I've spent tons of money buying things that never worked for me until I found the right program, right? When I was losing weight, okay, I think I bought like 100 different coaching programs because none of the diets worked. Nobody could help me lose weight. It wasn't until I changed the way in which I approached the programs that everything started to click for me. And the way I approached it was I just haven't found what works for me yet. And so if you're somebody that's maybe bought a program or maybe you bought some systems or indicators, or maybe you haven't really felt happy about some of the purchase that you've made, maybe it's with us, maybe it's with other vendors. There's hundreds and hundreds of retailers out there that are selling systems and strategies, right? Don't let the fact that it didn't work for you change your mindset around doing what's necessary to become a great trader. Okay. Because what happens is if you let your subconscious control your thinking, then you're going to stay stuck to your past results and you're not going to let anything change for you. Does this make sense, guys? Give me a yes that you understand why I'm saying this. I don't care whether you buy this package or not with me, or if you do this with me or not. Use that with everything that you do in this industry, because you might find something down the road with another vendor that you absolutely think is great, but because you spent money in the past and you had bad baggage, you didn't give them a chance either. Don't hold yourself back from your success because you're using past experiences to dictate today's choices. That is the worst thing that you can do. Does that make sense? Give me a yes if that makes sense. Because if you let past failures or past purchases or past experiences dictate today, well, shit, you might as well just quit, because you're never going to let go of the things that are holding you back. And I say that with courtesy. I don't say that to try to be rude or arrogant. I'm actually trying to help you, because if you hold on to that baggage, I won't be able to get through to you. Even if you pay for this program, you'll go to the coaching program, you'll come there on Monday and Tuesday, and your brain will not be teachable. I don't want you to even buy something unless you're ready to change the brain, change the mindset, change the energy around what you're doing. Because if you're going to come into an environment with me and expect to grow as a trader, then you need to let go of the things that are holding you back, right? And like I said, you got to get uncomfortable, right? And I understand some of you have maybe spent money on other packages or programs with us or with other vendors. The trading industry is an expensive industry, right? But I'm here to tell you that that is not more expensive than you spending the next 3 to 5 years of your life blowing accounts and spending tens of thousands of dollars on prop firms and your own prop accounts staying stuck. Okay. And that's real. So how many of you guys are excited? Type an E for excited. I want to know if you guys are excited for what we're about to do, because I know for a fact I can get you guys making good money in prop firms. I know this for a fact. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up a 2-day boot camp. Okay. Then we're going to go over questions. We're going to talk to a bunch of you guys who got questions, etc. And then we're going to go over a bunch of stuff. Okay. So let's get into this. So normally in a coaching environment, you're going to spend thousands of dollars. Okay. So what we're doing is we're going to open up a group coaching environment so that everybody wins. Okay. We're going to do 2 live sessions of coaching. This is not just trading. I will place trades and I will be coaching. Okay. We are going to go over my framework for the 4 different strategies that I was explaining. And then we're going to build your entire plan. Like I'm going to build your entire business plan with you so that you guys can have the entire framework around how to do this. Okay. Once it's done, you can have access to all of the recordings and all of the layouts and all of the templates and everything. Plus, everybody that joins is getting a $500 credit for the marketplace. Okay. And a free 50K sprint account. Does everybody understand this? So we are going to give you marketplace credits in TickBlaze and also a prop account for free. Okay. So clearly the value there pays for itself. Right. And all I ask is that if you're going to do this with me, that you come ready to win and ready to make it happen. Right. Because I don't want to be around anybody that's not ready to change or that's ready to do this and do it from a really high level. Like I like to be around people that are excited, people that are willing to learn, do the work, show up with the right energy and the right mindset. I don't like being around a bunch of Debbie Downers. Does that make sense, guys? Because I'm going to take my time and coach you guys and spend time with you. I want to make sure that you guys get the best of the world and best of me and best of everything, right? Does that make sense? So what we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to post the links in the chat box. The events are taking place Monday and Tuesday of next week. Monday morning and Tuesday morning next week. We're going to do this at the bright and early Monday morning, US Open. We're going to be doing this. And so let me just go over that. Does everybody see the link in the chat box? Everybody can see it? Okay, take that link. That's your purchase. I need you guys to fill out the poll because this is not a normal event. This is a group coaching event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the poll. I need to know if you're buying. Why? Because if I don't know your attendance, I can't give away the accounts. I can't give away the credits. We can't. So I need to know who's going to be with me Monday and Tuesday in the coaching environment with me doing this. This is a boot camp. This is a private event for prop, multi-prop. And we are going to be going over a lot, and I'm going to be building your entire business plan pretty much from scratch. So, yeah, and you need to put a yes. If you're buying, I need to know for sure. Do not put a yes if you are not coming. Like, if you are not 100% coming, do not put a yes. If you need to speak to our team or sales or anybody on the sales side, you can put your phone number in. Okay, you can do that. Please fill out the poll. It's either yes or no, guys. Right? We understand not everybody's ready for whatever it is. We're not here to force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. But if you're ready, I can promise you that you will leave that event a changed trader. Like you will get results with me. And that is something that I can actually stand behind. No, it does not come with all the tools, Igor, because you may not want all of them. You may not want to use 1 or 2 of them. My recommendation would be is that you only start with 1 of them, right? You don't see the poll, Ed? That's okay. If you're coming, just put a yes and we'll pull the poll report. Yeah. If you don't see the poll and you're coming, just put a yes in the chat so I know. Great. Thanks, Ed. This is not the same company, Ron. This is not ATS. This is for PropShopTrader. It has nothing to do with TickBlaze. So if you're in the ATS, it doesn't matter. This is outside and independent, completely different infrastructure, different, entirely different. So this has nothing to do with the ATS. So even if you're in the ATS, that does not mean that you would get this. Yeah, 2 separate companies, 2 separate environments, 2 separate teams, 2 separate everythings. Yeah. The ATS is on TickBlaze and the ATS is on the TickBlaze side. But if you have the ATS, you'll have all the tools. So That's great. You won't have any software. Yeah. If you're in the ATS, you don't have to buy any indicators. Yeah. That'd be great. Please put in the poll if you're coming, guys. I need to know because there's a lot more to it than just buying. We need to send you credits. We need to send you coupons for the marketplace. We need to send you the accounts. We also need to make sure that you're registered on the actual product side so that we know that you're going to be there. So please do me a favor. If it's a no, it's a no. Just put a no. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But if it's a yes, I need to make sure that it's a yes because I need to know who's coming so I can plan accordingly for everything that I build and for the event. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, it's good. It's a good time to have this, Maureen. Yeah, yeah, right off the US Open. It's a great time to be doing this. Yes. James, this will be a lot different. So, James, you're asking how different is this from the order flow and the yeah, first of all, we're not doing any divergence trading. You'll be learning different strategies than those two boot camps. And I'm going to be doing building out the trading plan we never did any of the building of the trading business. So very different, James. Yeah, this is what I mean by I try to make sure the boot camps are very different, especially when we're doing different context. Yeah. Makes sense. Right. Now, anybody here that needs to speak with our team Jason will contact you. Okay. Jason will be contacting you on the other side and he'll be helping you guys. Um, and yeah, so let's go through some of these questions, right? I want to make sure that I address the questions. And like I said, I like to stay on topic during the presentation. So, um, yeah, I still got a bit of time here. So let me go through them. I'm super excited to trade with you guys. Super, super excited to do this. So let's see here. Yeah, so Brian says you were waiting on something to do with accounting on the tick blaze side with a bug. Yeah, a lot of those bugs are fixed. We're going to be pushing a new build out I think this week, today or tomorrow, the new build will be pushed. So a lot of the stuff that happened on the tick blaze platform with trade copiers, phantom orders, not being able to close trades, etc., that's all been fixed from what I understand. And you don't have to worry about any of that stuff anymore. Yeah. And any of the accounts that were affected would be reconciled and reinstated. So you're all set. Yeah. Yeah, everybody here says you're not consistent. That's just the case. Let me see here. Yeah, so let me see here. Okay, let me see. Nothing there. No questions. See that. Lawrence says, "Can someone help me?" I need. Yeah, Lawrence, I think we've already helped you with your questions. We got a lot of people that have not answered the poll. Can you guys do me a favor? It's either yes or no, or you're filling out your answer in the question. Can you guys do me a favor and please just fill out the poll if you're purchasing or not? It helps us help you. I can't do my job if you do not help me help you guys. Okay. Appreciate that. So Mark Henson, I think you're still here. Uh, I think you were a client of ours from way back with Crypto Street and a few other stuff like that. Why don't you send me an email so that I can look into your account and I can take care of you in a good way? I know that you've had some issues and stuff like that. Like I said, I want to make things well with you and everybody else. I know that everybody's gone up and down in different directions. So send me an email, Mark. I want to be able to take care of you and make sure that you have what you need and everything. Like I said, I want to make sure that you're off and in good standing. So why don't you send me an email and we can touch base and I can make sure that I take care of you in a good way. Okay. So let's see here. Yeah, and if you have an issue with the ticket on that, Mark, yeah, we'll make sure. Who's here on my support side? Steven, you're here, and Brian. Can you make sure you get with Mark Henson and figure out what's going on with his login issue? Put it to the top of your queue and make sure that nothing is addressed until that is taken care of, please. I want to make sure that he gets the help that he deserves. Yeah. If you have to personally call him, do it. Yeah, exactly. Never give up. Exactly. Okay. Will the sessions be recorded? Yep, absolutely. Everything you'll be able to. Yeah, we will never work with TradeEvade or NinjaTrader unless they open up the possibilities of doing something. NinjaTrader views us as a competitor because TickBlaze launches prop firms, and we're technically a competitor, right? So they most likely won't want to work with us, right? And yeah, but you will be able to use outside copiers. I think ETP is working on a copy trader that will allow you to bridge PST accounts into other platforms. Yes, outside copiers can do that. Absolutely. Yeah, not a problem, Maureen. As long as we can take care of you before the event, as long as that is taken care of before the event, great. Two fan, your web platform is amazing. Great. Yeah, thank you. We're going to be going over desktop and web, so rest assured we're going to go over both of it. Yeah. All that's been fixed, Michael. So anything that you're saying there with regards to the TickBlaze OMS, all of that's been addressed. Yeah. So you don't have any issues with that. Rhythmic is still supported in TickBlaze. You can use Rhythmic or any other Rhythmic connections inside of TickBlaze. Yeah, it's never Rhythmic was never removed. The only thing PST changed it because PropShopTrader uses the TickBlaze OMS now, right? So yeah. Gordon, I don't think so. No, this will be slightly different. Maybe sometimes there'll be an overlap. I might bring some of this into the ATS, but most of it will. Yeah, yeah. Will this plan be designed around sprint accounts? Both, Ed. So, I mean, obviously, we want to help you with both, right? Right. I'm not sure on that one, Michael, on the Trade Syncer via Rhythmic. I'm not sure. I reached out to Trade Syncer, actually. I reached out to them to try to do an integration. So I had a meeting with them about TradeSyncer, but I just know that if you want to use the TickBlaze trading platform, you can still use TickBlaze and use Rhythmic. You can connect any Rhythmic connection in TickBlaze. We support Rhythmic, Rhythmic adapters, CQG adapters, all broker integrations, all Rhythmic support. Yeah, but PropShopTrader does not. PropShopTrader is not a Rhythmic prop firm. PropShopTrader runs TickBlaze OMS. So if you're trading for PropShop, you need to use the TickBlaze OMS and the TickBlaze infrastructure. Yeah. Great. Okay, guys. Well, listen, a lot of you are going to be joining me, so make sure that you guys check out the replay for this event. If you have any questions, I see a lot of you requested callbacks, which is great. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the webinar. I'm excited to teach you guys this one. This one is brand new and nobody knows about this, right? And yeah. Yeah, so basically, this is going to be something I'm super excited for you guys to learn what I'm doing over here. This is brand new and no one's ever seen me talk about this, so I'm excited for that. But anyways, the goal here is repeating payouts, and my hopes is that I can help every single one of you become a consistent trader. The mobile app is very soon, Manic. Yeah, actually, I have it on my phone now. Thanks for asking. It's incredible. I was a little nervous, to be honest, Manic, about the TickBlaze mobile app before the developers gave it to me because building a mobile app to do what we wanted it to do was a very big lift. And I was blown away by what it can do. Like the fact that we integrated TradingView into the app and that we have trade copiers and dome traders and just I was never more impressed than anything when I seen the TickBlaze mobile trading app. Like I was literally yesterday, I was at the pool, like on my phone, placing trades using a trade copier on my mobile app. Like it was incredible. So you can literally, it's going to be great. When we release the TickBlaze app, everybody's going to love it. It's going to be incredible. Everybody will be able to trade on prop firms using the TickBlaze app. It's going to be great. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, David. Not a problem. Yeah, David says this boot camp is really exciting. Perfect timing. Great. Well, I'm glad that you find that to be your experience. I'm looking forward to having all of you guys there. All right, traders. So have a fantastic day. I'm going to jump off, guys. I got lots to do, and so do you guys. So have a fantastic rest of your day. And hopefully, you guys enjoy these presentations. We put them together to help you guys. And I hope you guys are getting a lot out of them. Type a yes that you would like me to do more of these types of presentations. And we will put more of them together and we will basically make sure that we do a lot on different strategies as well and helping you guys become great traders. Yeah. Perfect. Have a great day, guys. Fantastic afternoon, and we'll see you guys in the boot camp. Take care, guys.